Sorry, what was it?
I said hear you loud and clear.
Okay, fine. Okay, so yeah. Coming to our discussion, what are we doing in the last class? I think we have seen the four different ways of applying the CSS to the HTML elements, right? One second, guys. Let me take the latest code. Okay. So yeah. So the last class, what I was discussing is we could able to see that there are four different ways we could able to add CSS to the HTML tags, right? That is what we have seen. At the same time, we have seen the different ways we could able to add the colors to the HTML elements, like what is RGB, what is the hash code, those things we were looking into, right, guys? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay. So today we are going to talk about the three main important things. That first of all, we'll talk about what is dev tool.
Break. Sir, your voice is not clear, sir.
Sir, your voice is not clear.
Am I audible now? Is it clear now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We are going to talk about what do you mean by dev tool or debugging tool? Something about that. What is structure? And we talk about the CSS priority. Okay, so these are the three things we are planning to cover it today. So
talk to me covering to comments on comments.
Comments, right? Okay.
Yeah.
For reminding. So I'll add the comments also. Okay. So the very first thing is, let us talk about something called as debugging tool. So this is how I'm actually running the web page. This is how come it is going into the open in browser. Oh my God, how come my browser got changed to this? Fine. This was 22nd.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, go ahead. Okay, this is what actually we were discussing, right? This is what the page we have created. And if I look into the source code of this guy, okay, this is what we have created. We have seen that what are the different ways we could able to create the tag type of tag base. Say, for example, main page is there. I can even say this guy as a body tag, right? I don't need to give the class name also. Now you could able to apply the CSS in four ways.
Excuse me, sir.
Sir,
Yes.
24 plus done, sir.
Sorry, what was that?
You are opening 23rd September plus, sir.
I mean, I was actually doing into the same file itself. I don't want to create it. So
Yeah.
someone else is saying something.
Yeah, okay.
You know who is that?
Ramesh, sir.
Someone asking, excuse me, some question. Who is that? Okay,
Me,
fine.
sir.
Yeah, what is the
Sir.
question? Please go ahead.
Sir, will you teach at first HTML, either sir HTML, CSS together?
So Gulshan, if you see in our last class itself, at the very starting itself, we were clear that HTML, right? It is not the case that we first of all finish the HTML, later we finish the CSS. That can never be happen. HTML and CSS.
Actually, sir.
HTML and CSS.
Actually, sir, previous classes was my first classes, sir, and I did join at that time, sir. On that day, sir, on Friday, sir, at 8:30, sir.
Okay,
That's
fine.
was,
Okay, then you
I am
might
thinking, sir, I had missed too many things actually.
Okay, fine,
thinking.
fine. Then Gulshan, it is better. Have you got those 5 video links of YouTube, the demo classes, whatever we had? Have you got it or not, Gulshan?
Yes, sir, I did got today.
Yeah, can you please go through them
Yes,
once?
sir.
To just have a better idea. Then on the top, you can put the question. But just to answer your question, right? Actually, when you go for
Okay,
the HTML and CSS, right? It is never a case. Not only me, no one can actually teach only the HTML first of all, later CSS, because those two are interrelated. So that is the reason we go together. Okay, it is not like first I'll finish HTML, later I'll go with CSS. Okay, Gulshan, are you
Okay,
clear
sir.
with that?
Okay,
Yeah.
sir.
So yes, guys. So this is what we have seen. We have seen that whenever we could able to create a web page, there are 4 different ways we can inject the CSS to the particular HTML tags: inline CSS, class-based CSS, ID-based CSS, and tag-based CSS. We have even clearly discussed about what are the suggested 2 different ways and what are not suggested 2 ways. So can you tell me what are the suggestible way of applying CSS?
Class and ID.
Class and ID.
Class and ID base.
Class
What
and
are
ID.
not suggested?
Inline and tag based.
Inline and tag based are not suggested. Great. And hope you got a good explanation also. It is not like these are not suggested. You got a good explanation. If I ask you, boss, why the reason inline is not supported, you know the answer, right? Okay. So coming to this guy, this is how the web page got created. This is what it is, guys. So we are at, assume like you are, guys, if you are not talking, can you please go into mute? Okay. So assume like this is the web page which is already been created, guys. Now what I'm asking you is, assume like I'm the one who is a manager and I ask you guys, boss, can you please change the background of this blue guy to something else? So what do you have to do, guys? Do you need to go to the complete HTML content? Do you need to see? So it is easy for you to identify which tag is responsible for adding which content is responsible for showing that blue background?
News item 2.
Background color.
News item 2.
News item.
Yeah.
2.
So how you can say that? Do you think that it is easy for you?
No,
right?
No, sir.
Right now it is not so easy because you cannot go with the search of that blue color or something else, because right now it is blue color. It is easy that you can search it, but that blue might be used for someone else also. Okay. So any time if you want to find out the corresponding HTML for a particular look and feel, because now when I say that, boss, how come this blue guy got rendered? You are a UI developer. Now you got a good idea that at the background piece of HTML has been written in order to get such type of look and feel. We are already clear on that, right? So now if I ask you that what is that HTML, then it is very hard for you to find out that, okay, where actually that guy is residing, which element, which H3 tag, which P tag. Luckily, it is the maximum of 40 to 50 lines of code. You can simply search it and find it out. Assume a piece of code, something like, say, for example, Amazon.in is there. I ask you guys to change the color of this card, whatever this card color is there, right? Assume like we are the developers of this guy.
Okay, now I ask you, whatever the card color is there, right? Can you please make it to red color? What you do, if you go into the source code of this guy, you see these many lines of piece of code is there, almost 3000 plus lines of code. Do you think that it is easy for you to identify which HTML is responsible for the particular card over here?
No, sir.
You know, it is very hard for us. Then how are we going to solve this? How are we going to fix this guy? So that is where we need to go for something called as debugging tool or developer tools. Okay, that is where we have a separate tool called as debugging tool or developer tools. So what are the advantages we are going to get? And before that, how do you open a debugging tool? Earlier days, whenever we want to go with the debugging tool, we have to manually install the debugging tool. But nowadays, the developers are not developers, the developers of the browser, they are understanding that this is a very common thing which is needed for every other developer. That is the reason they are making the developer tool as a default tool by default available for every browser. Okay, whenever you are installing the browser, implies you are even installing the debugging tool also by default. So how do I open the debugging tool? Any web page you open, you right mouse click on this web page, you say something called as inspect. That will automatically open you a simple tool by default at the bottom. If you want to close this, there is a X mark, you can simply close this. This is a tool which is not a part of the web page. It is a part of your browser. Okay, so anytime you want to open the debugging tool, any web page you go, you simply click on the right mouse click on it, you simply go with the inspect. It will be opening the debugging tool. This is one way, or you directly click on F12 button. F12 will automatically open the debugging tool. That is the shortcut. And if you want to close it, you can simply close it. Any questions still here? Opening of the debugging tool, how to use, what are the tabs, I'm going to discuss, but at least up to how to open the debugging tool.
Sir, please repeat which button.
Sorry, what was the question? Could you repeat again?
Sir, please repeat which button we had to press.
Right, F12 button. Click on F12 button, it will automatically open. Again, click on F12 button, it will automatically get closed. Okay, and if you close the button,
but if you click F12 button, it will not highlight that particular tag content, right?
I told you, I'm not discussing about how to highlight the tag. That is what I said. Do you have any questions? And just opening and closing, I'm asking. So that I will go forward. I'll talk about how to identify one element, etc. things I'm going to discuss.
Okay.
Are you okay with opening and closing the tag or not?
Yes.
The reason why I'm asking this simple question is because going forward, I don't want you to have some questions on the basic things. Okay.
Okay.
So once you have the debugging tool by default gets opened at the bottom of the browser. You can always place it wherever you want it. So how do I place the debugger tool? If you see at the very right side, you have some dots here. So once you click on these dots, you should be able to see some pop-up, small drop-down menu where you have some positions. See here, the blue guy is highlighted. What do you mean by that? By default, right now it is at the bottom. If you click on this guy, the debugging tool will be on the right side. Again, if I click it on the left side, it will be moving to the left side. If you click it as a separate part, see here, the debugging tool has become a separate window out of this guy. See, this has become the complete separate window over here. Am I clear? So the debugging tool can be placed anywhere. Either it can be on the bottom or top, wherever you want, you can actually place it. And again, if you click it and if I make it at the bottom, it is again going back to the same browser. Once again, I'm repeating you, debugging tool is not a part of the web page. Debugging tool is a part of the browser. Okay, so browser is by default showing it. So why do we use this debugging tool? So as I said, a lot of importance we have for the debugging tool, guys. Okay. So the one main thing what you need to understand is, if you are a developer having knowledge on the debugging tool, the way or the faster you develop the web page is completely, the faster you develop the web pages, as simple as it is. We are not saying that without debugging tool, can't we develop the web pages? You can always develop those, but it is completely different. It is not so easy for you to develop the things. I'm not saying impossible, but it won't be so faster. But by using the debugging tool, it will be so faster for you. Okay. So debugging tool is the most important tool every UI developer has to get access to or have to get an idea of it. Okay. So under the debugging tool, if you see, there are multiple tabs here: console, elements, sources, network, etc., etc. So first of all, let us talk something about the elements tab. So what do you mean by this elements tab? Elements tab got divided into two blocks, where the left block is going to show the complete HTML content of the current web page. The left block is going to show the complete HTML content of the current web page. Now, if you see here, this is what the HTML what we have written. See here, if you expand this header tag, the title tag, style tag, these are the classes we have written. These are the content we have written. These are the classes we have added, ID, everything you could able to see on the browser. Okay. Elements tab will completely list out all the HTML content which is being used for the current web page. Okay. Now, as I said I was asking you a question. Now, if you see this much of HTML is there, how do you know what is the HTML content responsible for this blue tag, the blue content? You know how simple it is? If you go into the left top here from the debugger tool, there is something called as an arrow pointer. Simply click on this arrow pointer. Now, if you come back to the page and click on this blue container. Now, whenever I am mouse hovering on this blue container, do you see at the bottom? See here, this is the p tag, right? Whenever I'm mouse hovering at the bottom, that row is coming. When I move my mouse to the news item 2, at the bottom, you can see it is getting highlighted. So it is actually linking the UI, the look and feel, with the corresponding HTML content. Okay. Now, if you see here, I simply go here. When I click on this, see here, it is automatically highlighting that boss, a paragraph who is having an ID called news item 2 is responsible for the blue tag. Is it not simple, boss? Doesn't matter if it is 1,000 elements or 2,000 elements, 3,000, 10,000 elements are there. Don't you think it is easy for you to identify which corresponding HTML is responsible for the particular look and feel? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir. It
It
is.
is not just only highlighting the left side HTML content, it is even highlighting the corresponding CSS. Now, if you see, news item 2 is the one which is been added as an ID. If you see on the right block, do you see these are the CSS which is being added over here? See, ID based news item 2. The background was given as blue, color was given as white, font size is 30 pixels. It was so easy for us to understand what corresponding CSS has been applied for the corresponding HTML content. In the same way, I click on H3 tag. See here on the right side, it is simply showing, boss, color green is applied, background is so-and-so, font size is so-and-so. It is easy for me to understand that, okay, what is the particular content or particular class or HTML content being added for this. So this is how simple it is for the developer to work on that. Now, the peak level support is not just showing the content for you. Say for example, my manager asked me that, boss, this blue color is not looking good. Okay. Now, he asked me to do the change. Obviously, I came to the debugging tool. I got to know that ID news item 2 is the one which is getting applied. I come back to the web page. I find out where actually this has been applied. Okay, background blue is there. Let me say something called as red color. Save this guy, come back over here, reload the page. He says that, no, still it is not looking good. Again, go back to the code, do the changes, say something called as yellow green. Now, if you come back here, and reload the page. Now he says that, yes, this is looking good. But if you see here, if my requirement is keep on changing, when I'm doing something called as R&D, I mean hit and trail, I'm just applying it, not looking good, apply something else, apply something else, apply something else. If I'm doing that type of thing, do I need to unnecessarily redo the changes, go back to the code, do the changes? Now, what if I provide you an option where you can do the changes dynamically when the page is running? Now, if you see, this is the paragraph tag what I have. I can see at the right side, background color font size has been applied. Whenever I'm mouse hovering on the elements, a simple checkbox is coming. If I uncheck it, see on the top, it is getting applied directly. When I removing this, see automatically getting applied. When I check this, this is what you're getting. Now I will apply the yellow. Now if you double click on this guy, that will automatically become editable. Now I say something called as pink color. See boss, I'm not going back to the code and doing the changes, saving the changes, come back here, reload the page. No, we are not doing it. I'm dynamically doing the changes when the page is actually running. Okay, so now this has become pink. Now I want the font size as 50 pixel. Double click on it. Simply say something called as 50 pixel. See, so how come the changes immediately it is getting affected? And not only this guy, I will go to something called as some H3 tag. Okay, if you see, when I don't know like what is the H3 tag, whenever I mouse over on it, see on the top it is getting highlighted. Whenever I'm mouse overing on the paragraph tag, see automatically on the top it is highlighting, so that you can get a understanding that this HTML is responsible for that look and feel. See, when I'm clicking on these guys, so this guy color is purple. Now I say something called as some yellow. See here, whatever the news content is there, the color has become yellow throughout the application. See, everywhere, because I'm changing the content to the class. And if you want to say element.style, I want to add a new property. It is not changing the existing value, but I want to add a new property. There is no border property here till now. Okay, I would like to add a border property here. How do I do that? Double click on this and you say border, press on tab, 1 pixel, solid, say something called as blue. Do you see the border got applied, boss? Yes. See this?
Yes, sir.
So it is not only editing the existing properties, it is not only deleting the existing properties, but we can even add new properties using the debugging tool. And one more thing, is it only HTML, only the CSS properties? No, boss, even HTML also can be modified. Okay, say for example, here I have news item 2. Double click on this, it automatically becomes editable. I say something called as testing hello. See here, the web page is getting with testing hello now. Yes. Another way, right mouse click on it, edit as HTML. See, that becomes as editable. Now I'll say, I will remove this style property. I'll say some class is equal to ABC and the content is about to add new content. See here, is it not easy for me to doing or editing the changes here, boss? Yes. Say for example, I want to remove this H3 tag. Right click on this. There is something called as delete element. Delete element, that is gone. Now, if you close the debugging tool, all the changes, whatever you have added, that is how you can see the web page getting affected. Now, the main advantage what we have over here is we are not going.
Speaking, sir.
Okay, am I good now?
Yes, sir, you're good.
Okay, so the main advantage what we are getting is we as a developer don't need to rewrite the piece of code whenever there is something called as hit and trail issue is going. When the people say that the background should be only red color, you don't need to go with the debugging tool. Directly go there, make it as red color. That's it. But when you have that, you never know what property need to be added. When you're doing some hit and trail, when you're debugging something, you don't know anything about the HTML page. Now you need to identify which HTML is responsible for what look and feel. Then debugging tool is mostly useful. Now, the most frequently asked question by the students is the
Excuse me, sir.
1 second, let me finish this, please. The main question what you guys frequently asking will be is the changes what are we applying on the web page, are they permanent changes or temporary changes? Those are temporary changes. The changes whatever you have done, if you simply reload the page right now, whatever the changes you have done, those are having changed on the cache, browser cache. But once you reload the web page, it will go back to the HTML code, fetch the content, and it will be rendered. The changes, whatever we are doing using the debugging tool, those all are temporary changes, not the permanent changes. But if you ask me a question, how do I make it as permanent? In that case, manually, you have to copy the content and you have to paste the content. Now, say, for example, here I'm making yellow as something called as yellow. Okay, color, font size something called as 45 pixel, and I'm adding some border with something called as 3 pixel and solid something called as green, like this. Now you feel like these are the changes which have to be permanent changes. What you need to do, manually copy the things, paste it at the background. There is no way you can make the changes what you do on the browser as or on the debugging tool as a permanent changes. Yeah, please go ahead with your questions now.
Actually, I was asking the same, that whether this change depends only on our device or everywhere.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, that is a very common question what people will ask. That is the reason I was covering that. Okay, hope you're clear now with all.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
sir, can you
Yeah, go
repeat it again? How to fix it?
How to?
Like permanently, how to fix? Like this
Permanently, if you see
Yes,
here, permanently, I mean, whatever the changes we do right now, if you see, this is the changes what we have added. If you want to copy them, manually right click on it, copy it, copy here, come back over here, and you can paste that, right? That is how you need to manually do that. If you are doing anything with the HTML, say for example, in HTML, you are removing this paragraph tag. Under this H3, you are adding something called as new content. Okay. And for this guy, you are adding some name is equal to some text. You are adding some new attribute. See, a lot of changes can be done. Now, if we want this as a permanent, right click on the HTML tag. There is something called as copy. Copy element. Now, if you come back and if you paste here, see complete HTML, whatever the changes you have added, you could able to see that, right? So in that way, you can actually copy and paste that guy. If you have to do the changes, what to do with the debugging tool as a permanent changes.
Thank you, sir.
So why in different folders?
Sir?
Sorry, what was the question?
So why in different? Why did you paste it in different folders?
I mean, I don't want, I just want to show you that I could able to copy and paste it. Now you can directly paste it on the same HTML page. I just want to show you that those changes, what you do on the browser can be carried forward to here. Just want to show that it's up to you. You can paste it on the same page.
Sir, isn't there a Chrome extension that you can use to export, or any other, an extension to the browser that you can potentially?
I am not very much sure. I have never explored it. The reason is we are not using the debugging tool for developing the web page. Okay. There are very less cases. Say, for example, you don't write all the 100 lines of HTML code within the debugging tool, right? You only do the change for the particular piece of content, and the maximum we do the changes with the CSS. And up to, with my experience of 10 plus in the UI, I never got a chance to copy the complete content of HTML or CSS order. It's always like we used to debug the change. CSS class, okay, I used to copy and paste it. That is the reason I have never explored it. But that's a good question. I mean, we might have some Chrome extension. We can check it and we'll let you know. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And now you copied HTML element. This is only 30 line code something, but whenever we are real time, it may be 3,000 line code. So
Yes.
copying 3,000 lines and pasting there, it maybe cause some program issue or something, syntax issue?
That's a good question. So that is the reason I was saying, Mayur, that we generally don't copy the complete code. Now, say for example, this is the paragraph code I am changing. I am saying that new content is being added. This is what I have added. Okay. Now, say for example, this is the paragraph tag. Now what I do, I don't copy the complete HTML code. I only copy this paragraph tag. Right now, click on this, copy element. Now, if you come back and when you paste this guy, only the particular element is coming, right? You're not disturbing the existing complete HTML code. Am I clear, Mayur?
Yes. Thank you.
So then somehow we have to search where this paragraph or this line is there, and we have to paste it, right, sir?
Yes, exactly. Obviously, when I say that, okay, paragraph tag is there, I cannot directly come and paste it wherever I wanted. I need to know that, okay, for example, as I said, you right, this is what the page I have. My manager asked me that, boss, whatever this green highlighted content is there, right? So, I mean, I'm not liking that content. You have to change it. What I will do, I will click on this arrow symbol, directly go here, click on this. I get to know that a paragraph which is having the ID called as news item 2. Just to come back into your code and see where is that. Now, from the existing complete HTML code, do you got to know what is the paragraph tag which need to be updated? Yes. The second thing is, now if you want to do the change, I want to see how the change is going to look like. I say that this is the new content we are about to add. Something like this I have added. Now my manager said that, okay, boss, this is looking good. Make it as a permanent change. Now what I need to do, I will only copy the paragraph content. I come back to my page and I simply replace the existing paragraph tag because I got to know what tag it is. So now if you come back and reload the page, now it become permanent. Am I clear with the question, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
How do we search in Sublime?
Sorry, Pravita, what was that?
How do we search that where is the new ID in Sublime?
It is Control F, ma'am. Just click on Control F. It will ask. Okay.
Is this process is same? It's all browser.
Yeah. It is not only the Chrome. Any browser you go, every browser comes with a debugging tool. Say, for example, I'll go with something called Firefox. Okay, let us see how our web page is getting executed. Now, if you go into the Firefox, now if you see, this is how it is. Right click on this, inspect is the tab again, click on this guy, you should be able to see. The only difference is there he is calling that guy as an inspector. Sorry, here he is calling as an inspector, but there it is calling as an elements tab. Okay, but again, it's the same way. You have an arrow link on the top, you click on this, you click on this guy, this is highlighted. At the same time, right side, you can even see that what are the CSS been added. On double click on it, you can even do some changes. It's all the same. Right click on this, copy the element, delete an element. You can remove an element, add an element, delete node. See here, everything is gone. It's the same. I mean, every browser is by default providing the debugging tool. Their intention is to debug the code, what we have written. The way they do might be a slight different, but the intention of why they do is all same across the browsers. Next.
Sir, some websites I have seen, sir, where we can't inspect the element, we can't even make the changes, sir.
Mostly that could be never a case because we can stop the user to not to right click on it. Okay, user may not be, I mean, we can actually write some JavaScript code to simply disable the right click, but we cannot stop the user to click on F12 button because right click is a page operation. F12 is your system operation. None of the web page can stop you. And there is no way you can stop inspecting. That is the reason, if that is the case, why Amazon would have been providing this inspect option? Why Google is providing that inspect option? I could be able to inspect anything, whatever I wanted. Am I clear with your question?
sir, yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Right click. They might stop it, but not the inspect. Okay. So one very interesting feature over here, guys. As I said, when you are actually debugging the piece of code, not only the code what we have written, but the piece of code which is getting executed within the browser can be inspected or can be debugged. Like there is an Amazon page. Okay. As I said, say for example, we are the developers. We know that 3,000 lines of code has been added. Okay. Now, if I ask you guys, can you please change the color of this card? See here, I'm simply right clicking on it, inspecting this guy. If you right click on the element and inspect, it will automatically open the debugger window with the corresponding highlighted. Okay. If that is not an option, you simply right mouse click on it, inspect, it is coming. Now you click on this arrow symbol, go to the particular element. Now when I'm click on this, see here, span tag is the one what it got added. Now I ask you to change the, now you see, from the existing 3,000 plus lines of code, is it not easy for us to identify which element is responsible for that look and feel? Yes. Now I want to change that guy to the red color. Now I say color, something called as red. Color red is not coming. Say something called as background, something called as blue, like this. Okay. Some change I could able to add it here. Okay. I'm just disturbing this, but whatever it is, I could able to do the changes over here. Yes. Now, if you remove this, this is how it is. Now, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this Amazon icon over here. Right mouse click on this. I simply click on inspect element. Now, when I see here, there's an anchor tag. I don't want to see the Amazon icon here. Right mouse click on this guy. There is something called as delete element. I can see a Amazon web page without even an Amazon icon. Now, if I put a question, boss, whatever the changes you have done, is it a permanent change or a temporary change?
Temporary changes.
Temporary changes.
Temporary changes.
The changes what we have done to the Amazon.com have not gone to the Amazon server. It is still on your local machine. Once you reload the page, it will go to the Amazon.com server. The latest code will be executed on. So this is how easy. So if you know one thing, this really helps us to learn things. Now, say for example, there is a requirement for you. I asked you, boss, go to google.com. I say something called as some cars. I would like to search some cars. And I say that, boss, whatever the setting icon is there, right? I want you to implement the same guy in our application also. So what you need to do, if you could able to get the corresponding HTML and CSS of this guy, is it not easy for you here? Yes, right? Now, if you see, I can simply right click on inspect this guy. Now, when I click on this guy, I go to the settings here. See, I get to know that this is the one. Right mouse click on this, copy this HTML. At the same time, copy the CSS. Obviously, you could able to recreate the same look and feel. Yes. Now, when you are going to any of the web pages, you feel something looking very good. You want to know that, okay, boss, how he has created that HTML element. You can simply inspect it, go through all the CSS. It was easy for you. This is how easy, or it really makes the developer life so simple to develop the things using your debugging tool. And
hello, sir.
That too, I have only explored the elements. 1 second. That too, I am only exploring the elements tab. There are still some more tabs like console, sources. I'll come to one by one. But first of all, using the elements tab, you can explore the complete HTML content, which is in the form of a tree structure, and the corresponding CSS what are being added to the particular element. And you can edit or delete or update or add on new element, new HTML or new CSS property. Anything can be done using your debugging tool. That too, when the page is running. It is not that I will do somewhere, later I will run the page. No, while the page is running, dynamically we can do the changes. Yes, go ahead.
Hello, sir. Why the website give us the permission to inspect their site? I want to know about it.
Web page is not giving a option. Browsers are giving an option for us.
But why?
Earlier, maybe you want to debug the code.
can we change? We can only not permanently. We can change it.
Okay. Now, if I ask a question that why the browsers are providing an option to clear a cookie of yours, to clear the cache of your system, is it not the minimum requirement of the end user? Now, if you ask me a question that, boss, say for example, there is a layman who don't understand what do you mean by browser cache. Does he really need to know? In that case, people ask me a question that not everyone will clear the cache. Then why the reason it is providing it? It is the minimum feature what a browser gives. Now, if I ask a question, why the browser is providing something called open incognito tab here. Say, for example, incognito tab. Why we are opening this tab? So that my whatever the history, I don't want to maintain any cache history, etc. stuff. A normal layman doesn't know about this, right? We are a developers, we get to know this. But do they know that? No. It doesn't mean that it only provides for the developers, right? In the same way, browser is actually providing a feature where users could able to edit or explore the web page or whatever the web page which is running in local. So that is the reason they are providing it. One second. Did I answer your question?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Guys, one more thing, guys. Anytime anytime I'm answering your questions, if you are not satisfied, please go on the cross questioning, guys. Okay, it is not like an argument. You don't think that I will take it as an argument. No, it is not like that. Okay, if you until you are satisfied with my answer, you can still put on the cross questions. It doesn't mean that if you put a question and I say whatever I say and you have to listen. No, it is not a case. You can always put a cross question and get a satisfactory answer. That's it. Or else you can openly say on my face, boss, I'm not happy with the answer. At least if I can't make you happy today, at least tomorrow I will try to set something or I'll find out and I'll make you guys happy. Okay. Yeah, please, Shiva, go ahead.
Sir, we can use the we can copy and we can use this code in our own HTML page, sir.
Yes, you can always do that. Say, for example, I have this copy. Now copy, edit as a HTML. I can simply copy this guy. I can come back here. I can put in my HTML. This can be done. You can always do that. Now, if you see, this much of big settings icon has come. Now you need to add the CSS in order to decrease the size of it.
So, thank you, sir.
Any HTML from any of the web page can be copied to the local machine. Because that is what I said, right? The reason, okay, to answer one of his question, like how the browser is capable of showing the source code of other web page. The main reason is whenever you want to run any web page, for sure you need to have the HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript. When a web page is running, implies its corresponding HTML, CSS, JavaScript is already in your local machine. I mean, that is why whenever you put an internet connection, when you hit a web page, it will go to the server, get the content, it executes in your local machine. That is why it is called as client-side scripting language. And when the web page is getting executed, so user cannot stop, right? Now, when you go to the server-side code, there is no way you can explore the server-side code from your client machine because server-side code is not executing inside the browser. If the web page also not getting executed in the browser, then obviously you might not be having an option of inspecting the web page. But as the content of the web page is getting executed within the browser, that is the reason we are getting an option of exploring the existing content. More questions?
Hello.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Sir, can you please repeat why the web pages let us inspect their source code?
I mean,
Sir, I couldn't understand that part.
No. What I'm saying is, are you clear what advantages we are getting it?
Yes.
Okay. Now your question is, how the
Why
browser
they let us? Why they let us inspect?
Okay, so that is what, right? Now, do you know that there is a feature, something called as incognito window, where you can do some code where, you can make a privacy type of web search, etc. can be done in this window?
Yes.
Yes, right? Okay, good.
Yes.
Now, I go for something called as cache, Control Shift delete, I can go with the settings tab and I can do some clearing the data, etc. stuff can also be done. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
If I ask you the same question, ma'am, why he is giving that option? Why the browser is allowing us to open an incognito window? Why the browser is allowing us to clear the cache, etc. stuff?
For more privacy.
The more awesome. That's a good answer. More privacy, incognito. Now, can't I say that more feature for the developer to understand the existing code or to understand the or to fix the issues, whatever it is having? So that is the reason they are giving this option of the debugging tool.
Okay. Yes. Understood.
Sir, what will be executed if we copy the whole code for the web page? I know it has hyperlinks. It won't be executed, but what will be seen in the screen, sir?
The same. Whenever you say, for example, Amazon.in is there. Okay. I will go to the source code of this. Now, if you copy this complete content, go to your local page, create a new file, paste the content, what you have copied, save this guy. I say Amazon copy.html, save this guy. Now, if you come back, if I run this Amazon copy in my local machine, what is getting executed? Same, right? Whatever you assign, same as it is copy can execute within your page. But yes, on the top, now if I search for something called as laptops, then it might not work because the domain is changed. When you copy the content at the particular state, what it is, that is what you're copying. But when you say dynamic pages don't have it. Once you click on that, at that time, they are dynamically generating. That is the reason next thing cannot be done. But at that particular state, whatever you have, you could able to copy the content. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Next. Come on, guys. More questions.
Sir, can I recreate it?
What do you mean by recreate, Lohit?
If I copy the code into my text editor, can I recreate it on my own style? By changes.
Yeah, once you have the code into your local machine, you can do whatever you want, right? Now, here, I have this, where is that? This festival storage and image, right? So I say select your address. Go over here, select your address.
Sir, one thing related to it, sir.
1 second. I say, there is something called a selected your address. Instead of that, I say it's my own address. Now, if you save this guy, come back here, reload the page. Is it not saying that it's on my address? It's up to you. Once you
we can make it dynamical.
Dynamic, it is not so easy for us because the reason is if you see whatever the JavaScript coding you have, do you think it is easy for you to understand this code? No. That is the reason they minify the code, because one reason is because you guys put me a question. What if the web page you are capable of exploring the JavaScript code, you could able to inspect the things, you could able to see everything what is happening on the web page, then where is the security here? There is no security concept, right? That is the reason they make sure to minify the piece of code. By looking into the code, you might not be understanding. At the same time, they do the things dynamically based on your request. Now, say, for example, when I'm searching something, what is the logic which is getting implemented on search? It is not so easy for you to find it out. So that is the reason you cannot do the dynamic things over here. But statically, you can copy the contents. Functionality, you can never do the things, guys, because if I could able to do the functionality, if the Amazon is exposing the functionality to what they are done, forget about Amazon, go for google.com. If they are exposing the concept of how the content is getting searched, then they are into the keyboard, right?
Okay, sir, I understood that.
Yeah. Next.
Sir, since we are able to access the code, the HTML code, everything for any website or any URL, so there would be some security issues, right? We are able to access the code, and by using that code, we can change for the new website or new application. So how we can restrict or control?
We cannot stop a user to access the HTML content or the CSS of a web page. There is no.
So
The main blocker what we are getting is these things are not getting executed at the server side, and we are not getting shown as output. It is executing in your local machine itself. Now, when something is executing within your local machine, we cannot stop that, right? So that is the reason there is no way. And that too, people always feel, because when I see HTML, CSS, advantage what you have is no business logic. When I say in the HTML code, I can see the account balance. Do you mean that I do the changes to the account balance over there? Is it affecting at the server side? No, it's only the look and feel. That's it.
So whatever the code we are able to see here in real time, it may not be the exact code, right? Because suppose if I have some HTML page, Amazon.html, so whether they will be having the same exact code from their in their server or in their real time, or it will
Actually no. There is a concept of something called as build process. So what actually we do is, while writing the code, we make it as a, okay, just to answer this question, guys, I mean, that will be really helpful. As Suresh asked this, let me show you a simple example which I already have. Under the Git, I guess. No, I think in the C drive, I have the projects. Okay, this is one of the session 1, part 1. Okay, this is one of the shopping application code what I have given out, what I have written. Now, once you open this index.html, this won't come like this. Where is that? Localhost 4200. It's an Angular code. Let me show you how actually it looks like after development. It takes a bit of time for running it. Come on. Okay, this is how it is looking. Now, when I go here, this is how the web page is looking. When I say electronic, this is how the page is getting shown. Okay. Once you see the source code, you have, do you see any type of HTML code is getting added? No. But when you write the piece of code, where is that? App and app component.html. If you see here, this is where you have created a div tag, select a tag, option tag. It was so clear. But when it is coming to the browser, it won't show that. Why so? You know what happens internally? Whenever you are developing, you write the pure HTML, etc., and all. But when you want to execute that guy, you say something called as ng build. I mean, the steps will be different when you go to the React library. Right now, I'm into the Angular. Whenever you say ng build, you go into this guy, there will be a new folder got created. See here, there is no folder called as dist folder, right? Now, if you see, some files will be coming. Come on.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, why TypeScript takes more time when compilation when compared to JavaScript?
Just give me a second. Let me finish this. I'll come back to your question. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now, if you see here, guys, there is a folder called dist.created. Under that, again, online shopping application. Do you see any type of JS files? Only main index.html will be there. Now, this is a JS file. See here. If you open this guy, you don't understand anything. See? View word wrap. Do you understand anything? No, this will get executed. See how it is getting shown. But while you're writing the piece of code, yes, you make sure it is in a user understandable format. Did I answer your question, Suresh?
Yeah, yes, sir. So it's not. I mean, practically there is a there is no security issue, and it's mainly for the developer to debug and fix any kind of issues. And so for the end user, even though they can see, but it's not the real code, and for the developer who is working on it, so it's easy to debug. So that is the reason we have, and hence there won't be any security issues. Correct answer.
Exactly. But yes, HTML and CSS, that is always exposed. You cannot stop the user to explore it. But if the HTML, CSS is shown, there is nothing harm for us because that doesn't contain the business logic.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, someone is asking a question that, can you repeat your question regarding the TypeScript? You're putting a question, right?
Yeah, sir. While TypeScript, when compared with the compilation of TypeScript, it's taken more time when compared to JavaScript. Why it takes more time to compile?
When you go with the JavaScript, you're not compiling actually. It is on-fly compilation is going to happen. But when you go to TypeScript cannot compiled by the browser. That is the reason you need to convert the TypeScript language into JavaScript. So before converting the TypeScript into JavaScript, I need to first of all compile the existing TypeScript. Then again, I need to convert the TypeScript into JavaScript. Then the JavaScript will be given to the browser. So you yourself can understand over here, right? I have something called as ABC. You can directly understand what do you mean by ABC. But if I give something called a Chinese language, in Chinese I have written ABC. Do you need to take extra time of converting the Chinese ABC into the normal ABC? Then you execute that guy. That is the reason compilation of building of the TypeScript will be taking a bit of time because it is going to each and every line, converting every instruction into JavaScript.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, next. Yeah, any more questions, guys?
So what is the difference between TypeScript and JavaScript?
Okay, 1 second, man.
Hello, sir.
1 second, guy. Yeah, sorry, ma'am. Your question is what is TypeScript and all, right? I mean, that's a very big discussion, Lipika. I mean, TypeScript is it is again a scripting language which is used as one of the programming language under the Angular. Okay, it is again a parent language of the JavaScript. The only reason why people go for the TypeScript nowadays is it's a type language. So whenever you define any type of data, you need to specify what type of data it is capable of holding. You can specify some restrictions to the data, etc. So that is the reason why people go for that. Anyway, once you go to the Angular, people will throw much more light on that Angular TypeScript. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so hope everybody is clear with what actually debugger. I mean, at least with one of the tab, we only see
Hello,
this.
sir.
Yes, please.
Hello, sir.
Please go ahead, Govind.
Sir, actually, I have one question that how do we get that type of symbol which is there in the Amazon page and corresponding left side page in our local machine? That symbol is
Shreya, somehow I lost
in
your
the header section.
In the header section. Okay, this Amazon icon you're saying?
Left corner, Amazon.in.
This Amazon.in you're talking about?
Yes, sir. If we see the header section, that tab, that 4 tabs are there. So the code which you have copied into your machine, that tab,
there is something called as fav icon, which I haven't discussed. Where is that? Come on. Or else, let me show you my local web page itself is already there. Okay, so when you go into the E drive, the Git folder, like classes, online shopping application, public, you go for the index.html. You see, this is our own developer web page. Do you see some icon which is coming on the top? So how come it is coming? There is a predefined tag, something called as, we go for this guy. So this is what we call it as fav icon. Okay, so we haven't come to that guy, but link with rel, under that you are going to specify the shortcut as an icon. Then you specify whatever the image path you have. That will be automatically shown as this guy. Okay, now if you go into the Amazon, where is that guy? Control F, Control V, icon. Okay, they have added it dynamically. But anyway, so this is how you could able to add the icons to the particular web pages, which we haven't yet come to that, but we are going to add those things also in future. Am I clear? Am I clear, Shreyas?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is what about the elements tab, guys, where you could able to explore the complete HTML content and the corresponding CSS, and not only exploring, you can do some changes also. On the top, there is something called as the console tab, where once we come to the JavaScript, either for consoling the messages or anytime you have any error in the JavaScript code, we'll go to the console tab. And the sources tab is the complete HTML content or every external content like JavaScript code, every other content will be shown here. I mean, what are all the sources which are being used to load this web page. And the network tab will show you list of all the network calls, implies any call which is happening to the server. How much time it is taking in order to give a response from the server, how much size it is responding. So those all things will be covered under the network tab. Anyway, I can't just go with the theory here. Once I come to the AJAX calls, or once I show you how do you run the things from the server, at the time I'll explore about all the other tabs. So today, the very first assignment what you have is explore the debugging tool, guys. Just to play with the debugging tool, go to google.com, delete something, add something, remove something, go to whatever the web pages you wanted, you delete something, you want to add something. So a lot of things can be done by using this debugging tool, just to get familiar or make your hands dirty by just exploring as much as you can with your debugging tool. Okay, only with the elements tab. Remaining all anyway I'll discuss about that. So the next topic what actually we have is there is something called as DOM structure. Okay, so what do you mean by a DOM? A DOM indicates document object model. Okay, DOM indicates document object model. Okay, so what do you mean by this document object model? The complete tree structure of a web page, we call it as a DOM structure. Any web page you go, say for example, let's go with something called as a paint. Come on. Okay, so any web page you go, obviously what you're going to start with, do you start with something called as HTML? Yes. Under that HTML, obviously you say something called as a header part. Yes. Under the HTML, there is something called as a body part. Yes. Under the header, you might have something called as a style tag. Maybe in future, you may go with something called as a link tag also. Under the body tag, you might got some H3 tag. You might got some paragraph tag. And along with this paragraph tag, what is the ID is being added? Say some ABC. Okay. What is the content being added? Whatever the content you want, you can simply add it. So this is like a tree structure. Now, when I say this is a HTML tag, under that header is going to have something called a so-and-so. HTML is having some body and header, and this body is having this H3 and paragraph like this. These might have something else. These might have something else. These might have some siblings. These might have some other elements. So this is what we call it as the tree structure of a web page is called as a DOM structure. Let me show you. Sample DOM structure of HTML. Now, when you go into the image, see here, this is how the DOM structure is getting created. Example, document is there, element HTML is there, under that heading is there, under the title is there, under that what is the text you have. Again, body tag is there, an anchor tag is there, he is having a href attribute. So like this, when you go for another tag, he is having so and so. So one main thing is, if I put you a question, okay, hope you understood what do you mean by tree structure of a web page?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now if I put the question, does the DOM structure of every web page will be same or not?
No, sir.
No.
Everyone?
Sir, basic structure will be same.
No, sir.
Maybe. Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Yes, sir. Basic structure may be
Basic
same,
structure
sir.
will be same, sir.
Not only the basic structure, guys. The only common part is HTML tag. Under the HTML
Yes, sir.
tag, someone might go with a obviously header and body will be there, but some might go with without a header. It's not mandatory, right? The only mandatory field is HTML tag. But coming to the internal structure, the tree structure varies according to the complete HTML content. What are we using? Isn't it? The tree
Content will be
structure,
different.
we call it as a DOM structure. So that is the reason anytime we are identifying this element, say for example, H3 is there. I can call this H3 as a tag. I can call it as something called as a tag. I can call it as an element. I can call it as a DOM element. When I say element, element indicates from opening tag to the closing tag. Now, when I say, boss, what is this P tag? P tag in the sense, P open tag is there, P close tag is there. When I say P element implies from the opening tag to the closing tag, including the properties, including the content, or including the attributes. So this element, either we can call it as a DOM element. What do you mean by DOM element? Element which is participating within the DOM structure, we call it as a DOM element. Okay. So this is the reason I was sometimes I was mistakenly using the word called as HTML element, DOM element, HTML tag. In fact, all are same. Either you go with the HTML tag, either you call it as a DOM element or simple element, anything, it's all same at the bottom. Am I clear? Everyone is clear? Anyway, it's a simple explanation, but do you have any questions on this HTML structure, DOM structure? Okay, very good.
Hello,
So
hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, Neeraj here. Sir, I have a doubt. Sir, जैसे DOM एलिमेंट है, तो DOM एलिमेंट को डायरेक्ट सिलेक्ट करके उसके जो कोड बेस में चेंज नहीं कर सकते, जैसे H3 को चेंज करना है, तो why we use DOM?
Why we use DOM? We as a developer, we are writing this web page, but for a browser, does it need to convert this complete page into some parent and child relationship? For the browser, it is called as a DOM structure. For the browser to construct the complete page, it need to know what is the sibling. It need to know what is the parent. It need to know what are the children, what are its attributes, what are its content. So when the browser is actually building the web page for us, it always follows the tree structure to make the complete web page with a relevant content. That is the reason for the web page, it is DOM structure. For when we as a developer, we can call it a simple HTML tag also, because we are not treating it as a HTML tree structure, something like that. When the browser it is there, it always takes it as a tree structure. That is the reason it's called DOM structure. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, next. Okay, so from now, any HTML element, guys, either you can call it as a HTML tag or HTML element or DOM element also. Anyway, once I come to the JavaScript, I even talk about the document object also. At that time, you'll be much more clear. And one more thing, guys, when you actually go into the debugging tool, if someone asks you a question, what does element tab contain? Element tab contains the DOM structure. Now, if you see, this is what our DOM structure is. HTML is the tag. Under that, there are two children, header tag and body tag. Once you expand this header part, there are two children again, title tag and style tag. Style tag is even having an attribute. Now you expand the style tag, it is having its own content. Now you have the body tag. Now you expand this. So it's again the tree structure representation of the complete web page will be shown under the Elements tab. Clear, guys?
Excuse me, sir.
Okay, nice. So the next thing what we have is, yeah, let us talk something about the comments also, guys. What do you mean by commenting?
Sorry, sir. CSS priorities.
Yeah, CSS priority is there, no? Because I don't think I could able to cover the priority now. I don't want to finish it in a hurry. So I'll finish the comments part, then I will cover the comments. And one more thing, guys. I mean, hope you already know the reason why I haven't taken the yesterday class and why I'm into the hometown. Actually, there is the main part which is happening tomorrow. So tomorrow, for sure, I may not be able to take the class. And regarding the Thursday, I will let you know on the message. But I mean, the Thursday, I'm not saying that it will not be there or it will be there, but I'm going to update through the message. But tomorrow, it is for sure I may not be available. But for sure, from Friday, it will be again on a continuous class. I'm seriously apologizing, guys. I mean, I know like we just started the class and these type of classes having or not, but it's completely out of my hands. It happens, so I need to do that. Okay, so but I mean, don't think that this will be like keep on repeating, guys. It is not a case that I'm going to keep on doing such type of thing. As I said, whatever I said, it is and nothing in my hand. I couldn't able. Okay.
No need, sir. No need of sometimes
the reason why the only reason why I'm explaining this much of thing, guys, because I know the people who are really waiting to finish their course content and they want to start their career. So that is the reason I'm giving this much of explanation. To be very much frank, I never explain anything to even in my organization or at my family. If I take a decision, it just goes. But I don't want like 140 plus people are waiting on my decision. That is the reason I'm giving an explanation. Hope you understand. Okay, it's in your perspective. I'm thinking. I mean, because
that's no problem, sir. No issue. No issue.
No problem, sir.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
No
guys.
issue, sir.
Don't worry.
No issue, sir.
Okay, if it is no issue, then fine. I mean, for every week, I'll take 2 days of holiday. Okay,
Oh, that's
just
fantastic.
It's emergency things, and that's why.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for support, guys. Okay,
Yes.
so coming to this, guy, what do you mean by commenting? Commenting in the sense, whenever we write the piece of code, we need to write the piece of code in such a way that it's not only you are the one who is going to work on the code, but multiple people are going to come and they are going to explore your piece of code. Now we have written this piece of complete HTML content. Anywhere, any clue, something that we are adding these type of classes in order to explore this so-and-so? No, right? There's nothing a clue. But now, what if I add some information under the content saying that this example we are using to explore different ways of applying CSS, something like this. This is the message I would like to put it. Now, the advantage what I have is any developer who looks into this piece of code, by looking into this, he will understand that, okay, this is a simple example they have created in order to explore something. Okay, fine. But you know what is happening? Open in the browser. Now, if you see the problem, what you see is whatever the extra information you have added, don't you see on the HTML page? What? This is not a part of the content. That is just an extra information what I added. Now, if it is extra information, why the hell are we showing on the web page? It should not be shown, right? Right? Then how do I add some piece of content, but at the same time, I would like to stop the user. I don't want the user to see the piece of content. Then how do I do that? That is where you add something called as commenting of the code. In HTML, if you want to comment any piece of line, angular brace, exclamatory mark, hyphen, hyphen, and close with hyphen, hyphen, angular braces. Under this, any number of lines of code, whatever you write, that will be simply part of the code, but will not be executed within the browser. Now, if you see, I kept this piece of code, come back here, reload the browser. Do you see any content? No. But when the developer looks into the piece of code, does he have some extra information that why this is being written? Yes. This is what we call it as commenting the code. Piece of code is part of your code, but it never get executed. In the same way, it is HTML. Now I want to add some CSS to this guy. Now what I can do, it is not Angular braces. You say slash asterisk asterisk, sorry, slash asterisk and asterisk slash. Now in between whatever the content you want, you simply add it. That will not be shown on the browser, but it is just an extra information. Now I can say that classes using ID, as simple as it is. So this is like an extra information what you can add to the web page by using either in the CSS or even in HTML. Even in JavaScript also we have concept of adding the classes, but yes, I will be discussing it when I actually go with the JavaScript content. Okay.
We can add comment in both the ways.
Yes, ma'am. No, not both the ways. In HTML, this is the only way. In CSS, this is the only way. You cannot move this type of comment in CSS. If it is in CSS, it has to be asterisk slash, asterisk slash.
Okay.
Within this multi-lines of content. But in HTML, you have this type of tag paste.
Like C language.
Yes, almost like the same. Okay. And okay, this is about thing, guys. Before closing, is there anyone still pending for getting added into the Telegram group, guys?
Yeah,
Sir,
I need to join. Sir. This is my first class after the demo.
Oh, okay, Suresh. So
maybe tomorrow I will.
Please
even myself, I have to get added, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I am facing. Excuse me, sir.
And
hello. Excuse me, sir.
Go ahead, Gulshan.
Sir, I am facing to access the DevOps GitHub, sir.
Have you got the access to the GitHub?
Hello.
Gulshan, have you got access to the GitHub?
I have the sir accounts. I have account sir on GitHub, sir, and I have the link of yours of the GitHub, but I did not able to access.
Gulshan, you are already part of the Telegram group, right?
No, sir.
Why you are not into the Telegram group, Gulshan? Can you please, guys, the very first thing everyone has to do is please get added into the Telegram group. I really see the best conversations which is happening. I don't see any like unnecessary conversation. People are really doing the good conversation. And anyone who is getting any blocker, you are getting immediate solution from the others. The best thing is you are not waiting for me. Anyone who have an idea of the solution, they're actually responding back. That's really, I'm appreciating you guys. So,
hello, sir.
So that is the reason.
Kindly send the link of the Telegram group, sir.
Gulshan, actually, we cannot add you guys. Ramesh is the admin. Please ping Mr. Ramesh. He should able to add you. Only he is the one who can add you guys. Openly, like even I cannot add it.
Sir, I asked him Telegram ID of yours, sir, but he told to ask you in class.
Okay, let me ping you now itself. My ID. @
Hello, sir.
Okay, 1 second, guys. 158. This is my Telegram ID, but adding you to the Telegram group, Ramesh has to do that, guys.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
He has to add us to the
whatever
group,
notes
sir.
you will share today, will we have
He
to clone
has
them
to
to
add-
repository again?
He has to add you as a part of the Telegram group. That is how I get to know that you are the registered one. Then I will be giving you the GitHub access. So that is the reason. From his side, the final job or final help, what he can do is just adding you guys to the existing Telegram group. That's it. From there, it is my responsibility. You will be pinging me the Gmail ID. I'm going to take it and I'm going to give you the access.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Okay, guys.
Hello, sir.
1 second, guys. People who are not having any question, you can please sign off, guys. I'll just answer these questions. I'm not going to talk anything topics now. Once after the class is done, I'm going to submit the code into the Git. You can access from the GitHub. Okay.
Sir, one doubt, sir.
Yeah,
Sir,
please
one
go
doubt.
ahead. And people who have questions, I'm still there. You can
Sir,
go ahead.
Sir, okay. Sir, now